Hey, welcome back to Revolutionizing Your Ride. My name is Hunter Smith. This is the video series where we talk all things EV. We've talked about a lot of things so far. We've talked about lithium iron versus lithium ion. We've talked about lithium mining. We've talked about regenerative braking. We've talked about transmissions. We've talked about a lot of stuff. But today I'm going to cover the topic that I get asked more than anything else, right? And that is, how many miles will this thing go a day? How many hours will this thing work per day? And there isn't a magic answer to that question. Now, there is an answer to that question, and we're going to get to that point. But really, every truck is different, okay? So if you're talking about a Tesla car, they take all things into consideration. And when you get in, you can say, oh, I got 240 miles to go. And under normal driving circumstances, you're going to go 240 miles in that car. And you know that. And so you can plan your day around that. In commercial vehicles, you're going to come in and we're going to have a similar type reading. But the only thing that we're not going to know is we're not going to know how you're going to use that truck. So a lot of commercial vehicles have bodies on the back. And these hydraulically powered bodies are utilizing an EPTO, or electronic power takeoff, to power that body. So if I'm talking about a garbage truck and I have a big packer blade and I'm packing all that trash, and every time I pack that trash, it also takes from the battery life. So the truck itself is designed to go, 150, 160 miles a day. But when we take into consideration what we're doing with the truck, then you really need to get somebody like myself. You need to get somebody like an engineer from our factory, or somebody who's a lot more intimately involved in battery electric vehicles, to help you either build a route around that truck or find the perfect route for that truck. Now, we've come a long way in the last few years. These cell phones of ours are super thin now. They used to be big old bricks with giant batteries that didn't last but 30, 45 minutes. And now these little phones are lasting all day long. So the technology is advancing rapidly. But we still have to be realistic with what we're asking these trucks to do. When we're talking about commercial vehicles, we're not talking about that little Tesla out there. We're talking about a truck that's going to weigh, loaded out, 66,000 pounds or more. And, hauling around all that weight takes a lot of energy. So we really need to consider where we're going and what we're doing. So you have to ask a lot of questions. How fast am I needing to go? How far am I needing to go? What's the topography? Am I going over mountains, or am I working in the inner city atmosphere? Is it a long distance in between pickups, or are all these houses right next to each other? Am I running into traffic? Is it really hot or really cold? So we're going to have to run the air conditioner or the heater. And I don't want you to think that the answer to any of those questions means that this truck's not going to work for you. Far from it. But we need to know those things so that we can build that route perfectly, because these trucks are supposed to help you make money or help you pick up trash, right? And if you can't do one of those two things or both of those things, then it's of no use to you. But this is generation 1 of this technology, and it's advancing rapidly. And so there are places where it fits in great. But I can tell you, I travel quite a bit, more than most people do. And I go to both coasts. I go north, I go south. And when I get into highly populated areas, there's almost nowhere where you don't see substantial smog. So, you get a few miles away from these cities. And, when I was a kid, you used to be able to see the downtown area so clear. And now the towns that we used to just see so clear have a haze of smog over them. And, we're really trying to combat that, right? We're really trying to make the air quality better, because I don't know what that air quality is doing when you're breathing it in all day, but I can assure you it's not good. So we can be angry about the government's forcing this on us, or it's not ready, but we're there. This is a problem that humans created, and we're trying to find a solution. So work with us here, right? So you're going to have to really figure out how to use that truck in a route. So it's not to say that it won't do it. If you're used to, doing a full pack after every house or every pickup, don't do that if you don't have to. You're going to conserve energy, right? If there's a different route you can take to not have to go straight up that mountain and over the other side, we'll take that different route if it's going to save you some battery life, right? Consider how you're braking, trying to use that regenerative braking to your advantage as much as possible. Are there fast chargers on the route somewhere where you could stop and grab a hamburger and plug that thing in? You know, there are a lot of things that are going to become available and are available, but in order to answer that question, look, the trucks are designed to run an inner city route and do a 9-hour day and come home at the end of the day with battery life left over. And when I say inner city, I don't just mean downtown Chicago, but I mean a populated route, right? So if you've got to drive 30 miles to get to the neighborhood just to pick up the trash and drive 30 miles back, maybe it's not right for that, right? But if you don't and you can build the route around the truck, then I think you can have a truck that's going to do all those advantages that we talked about previously. It's going to be a truck that's easy to maintain, it's easy to drive, it's easy on the driver, it's quiet, the customers are going to like it. There's a lot of advantages there too. So we're pretty long-winded today, but I just really wanted to discuss that topic, that the trucks are designed to run a route. And they're designed to do that route without just running you out of battery or going to zero. But it takes you as well, not only working that route, but thinking about how much you're packing, thinking about how much you weigh, thinking about how far you go, making those considerations, making those changes. And if you do that, you're going to love operating these trucks. Thank you so much. My name is Hunter Smith. Email me right down here if you want to explore those options more, see what this looks like for your company or for your municipality. We'd be happy to help you out. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.